Evening and welcome to our Waterloo City Council special session. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bozen?
Here.
Mr. Nichols?
Here.
Ms. Creighton-Smith? Here. Mr. Childs? Mr. Simon?
Here.
Ms. Wilder? Mr. Foyce?
Here. May I have an approval of the agenda, please?
I move that we accept the agenda, approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Can somebody take number one, please?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing, and that's for the fiscal year 2026 property tax levy hearing.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. And before I invite members of the public to come up, I'm going to ask our financial director to come up and give a short synopsis.
Bridget Wood, Finance Director. So what we're hearing, the hearing today is over the levy rates that went out to all of the taxpayers in Waterloo. The rate that was published was at $22.68,690. However, we will actually be certifying at $21.79. Well, it's $79,160, which will be a decrease in overall levy rate. However, it would be approximately $11 a year increase in total property tax on a $100,000 house due to the rollback going up from 46% to 47%. So the forms that went out that are required by the state are a little confusing. It'll show the current year certified, and then it shows the budgeted at proposed. But that did take into account, or they were estimating that your home value would go up by $10,000 as well. So it makes that percentage change look a little off compared to what the actual rate of increase could be or would be.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right. If there's any members of the public that would like to come up, now is the time to do so. Please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Good evening, David Sturch, 534 Glencoe Avenue, Waterloo. I'm here to speak for Met Transit. Met Transit receives federal and state grants along with transit levy that funds our operations, and that's through our local jurisdictions. And I just wanted to relay our thanks and your support for our operations at Met Transit on that levy rate. We always look for a little increase in that, to kind of offset some of our insurance and wages and all that. But again, appreciate the mayor and council, and along with staff working with Bridget on that to help fund our operations for this next fiscal year. Okay. That's all I got.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay, anybody else? Public comments?
Hello, my
Hi.
name is Carol Gustafson. I live at 819 Denver Street in Waterloo. I think one of the things that is most concerning to me is that the information that people have received in the mail is inaccurate, and it needs to be corrected. I saw the piece that was in the paper, but not very many people get the Courier. It's not been carried by KWWL or any other of the local channels, news channels. And I think that it behooves the city to make sure that the citizenry have the correct information so that they aren't running scared. And that's what I hear from a lot of our neighbors who are elderly, that are saying the county is going to increase this much, the school is going to increase this much, and now the city wants to increase. I can't pay anymore. I don't have any more to give. When you have people saying that they're thinking about moving out of Waterloo because of what's happening, and out of Black Hawk County because of what's happening, I think that you have to take it seriously. And so I really encourage you to look for avenues to get information out to the taxpayers so that they have a better idea about exactly what's going on. The young lady that came up and spoke, you know, if you would have had a whiteboard and written down what you just said, because half the people that sat behind me said, I didn't understand a word she said. If you don't work with financing, then people are not going to understand that. And you have to make sure that they do in order for them to support what you're trying to do in the city of Waterloo. All right? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, and I invite you to stick around for our budget hearing, or our budget presentation that's going to come up, and then go into more detail on all of that information. So, thank you.
And Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, sir.
if you would have Bridget just come up for 1 minute and talk about the new budget tool that she just added this year, so people can go to the website and see exactly what their dollars are for. She can come up and tell people about just really briefly, that'll be great.
Absolutely.
Bridget Wood, Finance Director. The new tool that we have is a budget simulator. So it's a budget simulator, and you can go in and see where the city's budgeting any of the revenue that they're getting in, and then also submit suggestions or for both revenue suggestions and expenditure suggestions if you have any that are different than what is listed in the simulator. Once we have a finalized or an approved budget, I'll also have a taxpayer receipt that people will go in and they can enter in the amount of their property taxes, which would show you what amount from the city's portion of your property taxes pays for different general fund departments. Currently, there's one out there for fiscal 25s. We don't have the updated information yet for 26 as it's not been approved yet.
And it's being shown up on the screen, the finance and the budget simulator as well. And that was discussed at our prior city council meeting as well, a couple of them. So,
Yep.
All right, thank you, Bridget.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Oh, hold on one second. Sorry. Public comments. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Could you come up to the mic and state your name and address for the record? Thank you.
I'm David Sullivan, I live at 814 Randolph Street. And I don't see how you can expect senior citizen, everybody in this town is just living on Social Security, how you guys can keep up in our property taxes. Pretty soon, nobody's gonna be left in Waterloo to pay the school taxes. What are you gonna do then? Nobody's gonna live here. Everybody's gonna be on the outskirts, just like you don't know that comment.
Okay, thank you.
How you doing? Andrew Gustafson, 225 Gale Street, Waterloo. Just kind of coming from a single male I've owned my home for 10 years now. And, you know, when I bought my house payment was $860. Now we're looking at possibly going over $1,500. And for, again, a single male that's not married or have another income coming in, it's just, it's insane. You know, we're also increasing prices, you know, for our mid-America bills going up. You know, everything's going up, you know, however, hourly, you know, our pay's not going up, food costs is going up, you know, it's very difficult. So as a single male, it's very difficult. I would have never bought a house if I thought I was gonna have to pay $1,500 to live in my home. So I just want to put that out there. So.
Thank you. Okay, are there any further public comments?
Carrie Morrison, 2141 Avon Avenue. I work for Tyson, so we live in a contract world when they decide to give us raises, okay? So you guys want to do this. Well, where I work with my 3,200 people might not see a financial increase with our living and our whatever they're going to do for us for another year or more. And like your documents that come out, I mean, I've participated in multiple of my Waterloo days. We want to talk about how, community, ethnicities, all this. I'm also only seeing everything in English that comes to people's homes. I don't know how to help them, besides bothering a translator at work. They want to take pride in our community. They want to be here and involved, but we're also shutting them out because we're not communicating it with them. Again, the data that came out that was stated earlier is wrong. That's why I'm here. I'm terrified about I have 2.2 acres. I just have maybe $1,000 home on this land, but I have the land. So I'm not going to be able to afford to live there anymore as a single person. Like, I'm going to have to sell my house and move out of Blackhawk County too, and half the elderly in my neighborhood are. And they're coming to me, be like, Carrie, are you going? Can you find us that information? Can you help us? Because they don't feel like there's any help out there, and nobody's even listening to them. So, I mean, Waterloo can just become a really dead town, because that's what's going to possibly happen to our community, and I do love it. And I've been here for my whole life, and I don't want to go. But if you don't give us any choices, and you're not giving out the documentations, and you're not communicating it, and you're not sending, like, you don't even have any translators here right now. So if I would have brought in some of these people, they still wouldn't even know what was going on. And we're a community. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Cheryl Christensen, 1702 East Mitchell. For one thing, there should not be any increases in property taxes ever, because there's new people going in the workforce all the time, and that should make up the difference for whatever taxes would be increased. I have information here. It says rebuttal to those who say property taxes are necessary. Number one, property taxes are worse than theft because they are ultimately collected at a point of guns. Property taxes are extortion and robbery. Government has stolen all property, is renting it back to those who stole it from, and periodically raising rent to cover criminal activities, government and its minions. There's no other way to honestly define property taxes. This country was originally designed to run on imposts and duties. Criminals or other government people otherwise can never be satisfied, no matter how high the tax is. It's never enough. Number two, ill-gotten monies are poorly expended on personal and projects many people do not need. Third, taxes are, contrary to propaganda, always a drag on economies. The higher the taxes, the less productive and poor societies become. Fourth, the fact that taxes are said to be somewhat graduated actually prevents people from attaining better income, better living. Fifth, avoidance of taxes is always available to those at the top of the income spectrum, especially those who are much richer than those of the average and lower incomes. Six, property taxes are one way the wealth block to those in lower income brackets from attaining wealth and competing for luxuries they enjoy. Seven, the argument necessary services to be curtailed or abandoned without taxes is bogus. Taxes take those services cut out of the competition arena and degrade the quality of services provided. 8, there is nearly nothing government does that wouldn't be called criminal if it wasn't government doing it. Number 9, government is at all levels has dug a deep financial pit and steep walls it cannot possibly climb out of, and it will, like all the others before, fail. It's also the second plank of the Communist Manifesto, 1846. The first one is abolition of private property. The second one is higher progressive taxes. I want to show you a piece here that shows these are young adult people. This is a question they were asked and the answer that they give. So this is from our government schools. This is what, obviously, they're not being taught information.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.
What year was the Declaration of Independence
Thank you,
signed?
ma'am. Your time is up.
1964.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.
What year did Captain Hook and Peter Pan sail across the sea and discover America? 1896. This is what's being taught in our schools. They need to teach education instead of
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.
all of the other indoctrination that they're doing.
Hi guys, my name is Ben Schwartz. I live at 595 Sunset Road. My thoughts on this, you know, when you mess with property taxes, every single time taxes go up, it affects poor people. So this gal that was from Tyson's, okay? I own a rental property in Waterloo. You know who rents from me? Tyson's workers that are from Africa that came here overseas 7 years ago, wanted to work the American dream. They work at Tyson's, both the mom and the dad, making 20-some dollars an hour. I'm gonna raise my rent because you guys are raising property taxes, and I will be not the only one, but people who can afford to have rentals are gonna pass the dollars down to people who are renting, and those people are gonna pay these taxes that you guys wanna increase on these properties. You guys already have one of the highest property tax rates in the entire state, and I didn't think Waterloo was this wealthy, awesome city that we're just flooded with rich people, guys. You have one of the highest. I looked it up. Des Moines has a couple areas that have comparable tax rates, and you want to hit us again and raise the tax rates again. Find your money somewhere else. Find it somewhere else. All the traffic lights that you guys want to hit us with that we keep driving around at 75 bucks a pop. Find it somewhere else. But raising taxes on all these Tyson workers who are just blue collar, you are not head of a wealthy community. You are not. You are head of a community that's full of blue collar workers, and they need your help. They don't need your detriments. They don't need more pressure, and they don't need to have people like me raising rent on people because you guys want to put taxes on them. That's all I have to say. I want you to rethink this. Think with your minds what you're doing to people. It's going to affect the poor people. I'm telling you, it does it every time. Taxes go up, the poor people are affected. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Candace Wolf, and I live at 222 Borland Avenue. And that man is absolutely correct. I work for the federal government. My husband works for you. And our escrow went negative last year because you guys drove past my house and chose to say that my house is worth $70,000 more than I bought it for 4 years ago.
The county does that.
My escrow went negative. I make good money. My husband makes good money. I can't imagine what you guys are doing to the elderly around here. They have one income. It doesn't change. And you have immigrants that live many in a house just to pay their bills. You guys have to find that money somewhere else. We can't afford to keep living like this. Me and my husband have been looking to move out of Black Hawk County because I would like to eventually save money for when I'm elderly. And that's not going to keep happening if our taxes keep going up.
Thank you. Okay, we have time for one more public comments.
Hi, my name is Andrew Kessler. I live at 1000 Bishop Avenue. I'm not originally from here. I'm actually from Omaha, Nebraska, so a town that's probably, I don't know, 10 times bigger than this one. And where I come from, I mean, the amount of property taxes I pay on my home for a house that I paid, I don't know, probably about the same, $70,000 less than what my new assessed value is the same as, I don't know, $600,000-$700,000 back home. So I just don't get it. I would like to know where all of our money's going to. Like, I understand that there's different budgets and stuff, but the whole entire time that I've lived in the city, I haven't seen anything change. Roads are junk. I mean, we got all sorts of old buildings that are vacant, not doing anything, just sitting there. Like some of these houses could be repurposed for the low income instead of building a multi-million-dollar apartment complex over by the old Hy-Vee. I mean, let's do something and make our community look a lot better. And we got to come up with different ways of getting new people to come here. I mean, it just seems like everything's dying. You got Red Lobster that's gone. You got Carlos Aculli's in Waterloo that's gone. Like pretty soon everything is going to be gone and there's not going to be anything here. Like, I don't know if we need to have the people at the top of our, like maybe you guys need to take a pay cut. Like I'm one of the lucky people. I'm one of the lucky people that works for John Deere and we have COLA, so it helps out a little bit, but it doesn't cover everything. Like COLA doesn't take into effect, or it doesn't take into account the cost of housing. Like it's unreal. Like a brand new house minimum, you're looking at $300,000. Tell me a job here that the average person going out there can afford that. Like they just can't. So we got to figure out a way to get this money from somewhere else. And I think the people of the community are willing to help find a way to do that, but let's not just keep taxing people so that we leave. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, that is the end of we're going to take a motion to close public hearing because we have an agenda that we need to continue on. So can I have a motion, please?
You're cutting off comments, sir?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to close the hearing and
receive and file oral comments.
All right, thank you. And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We are motion to adjourn and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We go
All
right
right.
in.
Next up, we have our work session. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bozen?
Here.
Mr. Nichols?
Here.
Ms. Creighton Smith?
I'm sorry. You can. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
Don't leave. We're
Don't
about to have the
leave.
budget.
Don't leave. We're gonna talk about the budget now.
We're talking about the budget
This is about
now.
what you
Sit
want to
down.
understand. This is the budget.
About to
Don't
have the budget
leave.
talk now.
It'll clear up some stuff.
Yeah, this is what you want to
Budget.
watch.
That was public comments.
I did.
Okay. Okay. Ms. Creighton Smith?
Here.
Mr. Childs?
Here.
Mr. Simon?
Here.
Ms. Wilder? Here. And Mr. Foyce?
Here. If you are going to continue to talk, I'm going to ask that you leave so we can continue on our business. Thank you. All right, I need a motion, please.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as proposed, as well as approve the minutes of the March 17th, 2025 council session as proposed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Ms. Wood, fiscal year 26 budget update, please.
Good afternoon. Again, Bridget Wood, Finance Director. Today I'll be going over what our budget is that we'll be certifying on the 21st, so the next meeting. The outline for this is to go over the published rates, which I'm going to briefly go over as they're not applicable due to being able to lower the levy rate. Balancing Act Analytics, which that is from our budget simulator and the submissions that we had received. And then our proposed certified budget for 26. Again, we originally published 2268, which is actually our max budget or our max levy rates that we could have done. It is not ever where we certify. And that just breaks down the other levy rates that's not debt service or police and fire. Again, this is what was published, so it looked like there would be an increase in the levy rate, however, there won't be. Our Balancing Act Analytics, we had a total of 3,658 page views with 15 submissions. Average time on the site was 16 minutes and 30 seconds. So the balancing act is our budget simulator where we had asked people to go on and look at our budget as proposed and make suggestions on revenue increases or decreases, including expenditure increases or decreases. One of the questions was, what can Waterloo improve? We received a number of answers. Mainly, it was about the library and making sure that it was fully funded, and then supporting people, especially those who are home insecure, better manage money better and stop increasing high property taxes. I don't know, I didn't make the submission. Revenue suggestions, we had included using fund balance for lowering the tax rate, was only 1 out of the 15. 5 wanted to decrease taxes, 7 wanted to decrease the police budget, and the rest wanted to increase it. 6 out of the 15 wanted to decrease the fire budget, the rest wanted to leave it the same. 2 out of the 15 wanted to decrease ambulance budget, and 2 wanted to increase, rest wanted to leave it the same. Some other suggestions we received on that were to privatize Young Arena and the Sportsplex, and to lower taxes to bring more people to Waterloo. Expenditure suggestions, we received a lot of those. Again, mainly dealing with the library and then policing budgets being reduced, and then city buildings needing repaired. That's just a general overview of what they said. The proposed budget for 26. Our levy rate is going to be going down to $21.79 so out of that, police and fire, well, actually all of them are decreasing. And the police and fire budget is not being decreased because of personnel. It has to do with the ATE tickets and the fact that the DOT removed the rights for us to have revenue on speed tickets. So that then reduced revenue and it reduced expenses. So this is the breakout of the other that was on the previous page, showing that each one of those sections are all decreasing from what was published in the paper and or with the county auditor. So again, this is how your taxes are determined on your home. On a $100,000 house, for the proposed rate, this is approximate. So we're using currents, like what we're proposing for the city tax rate, using this year's information for all the other taxing bodies because we don't know where they're landing. But according to this, the city portion of your home bill would only increase by $10.62 on a $100,000 house, which is approximately 1%. Again, the proposed budget, so the rate of $21.79 is a 1.27% decrease from the current year's levy of $22.07. To give you the net change in where these expenses or revenue increases are coming from, we'll see a 1.6% increase in personnel expenses. Most of those are contractual. Net decreases in other expenses of 1.7, which includes the ATE decreases, decreases for funding to the grout, decreases hotel motel tax expenses, and decreases in sidewalk expenses. I believe Jamie had said that we're working in a sidewalk area where we aren't going to need as much revenue and or expenses to get those fixed. This also, the decrease in revenue also includes not using $250,000 as originally planned from the library levy reserve, as the board had requested us not to do that. All that did then was increase our net use of our fund balance to $975,000. So overall, the city is reducing the general fund property taxes by $358,000. And the net increase for everything, including the debt service, then puts it at $537,000 increase total. Our capital projects funds, these are different capital projects throughout the city. This breaks it down into where or what funding stream they'll be used to fund some of those capital projects. It is a decrease of almost $1 million from fiscal '25 on what capital projects we have. The sewer fund has a decrease in overall budget of about 5.7 million, and that has to do with not as many SRF projects being budgeted for over the previous year, including revenues, or not revenues, but including expenses towards our fiber project. The stormwater fund, it has a decrease of about $506,000, mainly related to fewer capital outlay projects than that are being budgeted. The sanitation fund is an increase of about $230,000. Sanitation fund also covers code enforcement and animal control. Most of the increases were from personnel and increased contractual services. Road use, this was an increase of about $326,000 over fiscal '25. And this, as you can see on the breakout of where those funds are going. And it's approximately about a $12 million budget in total. Local option has a little over $20 million budget. It's an increase of about $1 million over '25. We get approximately $12 to $13 million a year in local option sales tax. So this budget here will be using some of their current reserves to balance it out. And we are doing 1.2 million to the general fund because of the referendum that was passed to have lost revenue at 80% roads and 20% property tax relief. The federal block grant funds that are being budgeted, it's an increase of about $518,000, mainly from the home federal projects that weren't in last year's budget, but it is a federal grant. And then housing funds is a $147,000 increase over last year, mainly because of housing assistance payments as well as salary and benefits. That's it. Any questions?
Council?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Strauss.
could you just, for the citizens, clearly explain why we are reducing the levy rate, yet there is a small percentage increase regardless? Can you just make sure they understand why that's happening?
So our levy rate is going down, but the reason why the property taxes are not going down with it is because of the rollback that the state Department of Revenue issues or decides the percentage each year. Usually comes out in about October or November, where you can figure out what your taxes are going to be next year based on multiplying your assessed value by the rollback to get your taxable value. So since that went up by 1%, that is why our property taxes are going up by 1%.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem? Yes. Can you explain that part? Explain how the state is taking less than it was before. Can you explain that part?
How the state is taking less?
Like you said, the difference that the state mandates.
So last year's rollback number was 46% and some change. This year's it's 47% and some change. So it went up 1%. That's the only reason why our property taxes aren't reducing by that 1.27%. It's the difference of the two.
And that's dictated by the state. That has
Correct.
nothing to do with us.
It has to do with Iowa code and how each property class can't go over, I think, 2 or 3%, or no, yeah, 2 or 3% over the entire state. So they set this rollback to try and alleviate that for all homeowners or businesses, depending on where they're at.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. So essentially what you're saying is somebody has a $100,000 house, that rollback, which last year was 46%, would say that if you have a $100,000 house, your house can be taxed as if it's a $46,000 house, but that amount is going up to where the state is saying, no, now your house can be taxed at a $47,000 house. So even though we're lowering the levy rate here, because the state is saying that your house is being taxed at a higher rate, that's why the amount is going up.
Correct.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Did you have?
Nope, nope.
So basically, if somebody wanted to, and I used to do this when I was younger, but if you want to go to the county courthouse, you can request to reevaluate the value of your home.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not selling your house, some people want the value of their home to remain high so they can resell it. Some people are going to live in their house for another 10, 15 years. They might want to try to reevaluate the value of their home, which would save them tax money.
Yep. They would go to the county assessor. There is, I believe, between now and the 25th of April, they can request an informal review, or they can take it to the, I think it's an appeal board for their assessed valuations, and they can submit a formal review, and they will need to provide documentation on why their house isn't worth what the assessor assessed it at.
Thanks. And so I just wanted to thank you, Bridget, for that. And so we will be voting on this in 2 weeks.
Correct.
The budget, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Council, any further questions?
No.
All right. Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We are adjourned. We have finance in 3 minutes. And welcome to the Waterloo City Council Finance Meeting. Roll. If you want to continue your conversations, thank you. Please do that in the hallway. Have a good night. If you're leaving, you can always stay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Nichols?
Here.
Mr. Childs?
Here.
Mr. Foyce?
Here.
Mr. Chair.
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as proposed, as well as the approval of the minutes of the March 17th, 2025 Finance Committee meeting as proposed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First up, travel requests.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to approve the following travel requests. First is for Vincent Walker, PM2 Construction, and that's for the Northland CDL training in Mason City, Iowa, on March 11th and 14th, 2025. Amount not to exceed $895. Next is for Noel Anderson, Community Planning and Development Director for the Grow Cedar Valley Annual Celebration 2025. That's in Waterloo, Iowa, on April 3rd, 2025. Amount not to exceed $750. Next is for Randy Bennett, Public Works Division Manager, and Scott Brunson, Sanitation Director, for the 2025 Waste Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada, between May 5th and 8th, 2025. Amount not to exceed $6,038.74. Next is for Chris Youngblood, Technology Director, and Ben Wagner, GIS Coordinator. That's for the Iowa Technology and Geospatial Conference in Altoona, Iowa, between June 3rd and 6th, 2025. Amount not to exceed $1,650. Next is for Quentin Hart, Mayor, and that is for the Main Street Conference in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, between April 6th and 9th, 2025, amount not to exceed $2,050. Next is for Quentin Hart, Mayor, volunteer and top teens of Cedar Valley Luncheon in Cedar Falls, Iowa, and that's for April 29th, 2025, amount not to exceed $1,200. Next is for Leanne Even, Deputy City Clerk, amended. That's for the IMFOA Spring Conference in Des Moines, Iowa, April 9th through 11th, 2025. Amount not to exceed $647.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Pre-authorization to expend over $2,500.
All right, here we go. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, sir. Oh, gosh. Yep. Take your time.
I move to approve the following pre-authorizations to expend over $2,500. Airport mowers for $8,000 for the annual lease of zero-turn mowers and 20-inch rotary cutter. Central garage for after-treatment system for $19,252.11 plus $1,000 shipping and handling. Central garage liftgate for $5,725. A central garage for brakes for the WFD number 303, $2,987.94 plus $500 shipping and handling. Central garage for Windows 10 and installation on 5 window tint on number 172-506 to 8 visual traffic department inspections for $3,276. Central garage hydraulic pump for $7,228.03 plus $500 shipping and handling. Central garage transfer case for $2,829.03 plus $500 shipping and handling. Central garage UTVs for $75,068.17 for 3 Bobcat UV34 gas utility vehicles and 1 72-foot straight blade waste management department for the waste management department. Central garage for Ford F-150 for waste management, and it's $46,745, replacing number 141423. Central garage for a backhoe for $129,930 plus $2,000 shipping and handling. Community planning and development for asbestos survey services for $6,300 for multiple city-owned structures. Fire and the EMS open house, and that is for consumables for the EMS open house not to exceed $1,000. Leisure services, safety surfacing mulch for Gates Parks Playground for $7,040 for 160 cubic yards of Playmate safety surfacing mulch for Low Gates Park. Leisure services, new play equipment, that is $107,500 plus $2,500 shipping and handling for new play equipment at Hope Martin Park. Leisure services, River Loop amphitheater light systems for $5,544.99. 1 watt stopper and related equipment, including startup programming for the River Loop amphitheater light systems. Leisure services for repair parts for the Terra Spike air fryer at $8,927.32. Leisure services, concrete picnic tables, $15,057.09 plus $1,250 shipping and handling. 11 concrete picnic tables for Burns Park renovation project. Leisure services security cameras, $37,221.05. 19 security cameras, including installation and licensing for Burns Pool and for the parking lot as a part of the pool replacement project. Police, for transcription and translation, $3,425. Major case transcription and translation for Spanish-speaking witnesses. Sewer flow detector, that's $35,010 and $465 shipping and handling. Sewer flow conditions detector. Sewer for the Easton pump, $314,310. Sewer transfer switch, $2,900 for, it's a manual transfer switch for upgrade to the garden lift station. Street department, a cold planer, $21,563.36 plus $550 shipping and handling. Cold plane mill to replace broken mill. Street department crash cushion parts, that's $10,104 plus $350 shipping and handling. Crash barrier at Franklin and Broadway curve damage in an accident. Street department sweeper bucket, $9,414.83 plus $225 shipping and handling. Sweeper bucket to be used for asphalt cleanup. Street department floats and valves, $4,897.42 plus $750 shipping and handling. Floats and valve for salt brine machine. Street department liquid storage tank, $33,429.73 plus $2,500 shipping and handling. Liquid storage tank to be used for calcium and magnesium for on-site brine mixtures. Street department Vacal truck, $6,459.90 plus $195 shipping and 15 cents shipping and handling. Repairs to the damaged Vacal truck. Street department snow plows, $22,058 plus $100 shipping and handling. 2 replacement plows for the snow plow trucks. Traffic department radio receiver, $9,148 plus $100 shipping and handling. Radio receiver bag and holder to be used with locator unit. Traffic urban SDK traffic data, that is $15,000. 12-month collision and speed data services for all roadways. Sewer manhole rehab, $4,700, and finance floor scrubber, $8,160.88 plus $546.47.
Second. We have, excuse me, we have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Just one question.
Yeah.
For the accident, do we have insurance to pay for this?
Mr. Bennett?
Randy Bennett, Public Works Division Manager. No, we don't, unfortunately. That's
Okay.
one that we're going to have to pay for.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Budget line items to be amended. First is to approve the budget amendment to increase the restricted donation revenue line and sports facility improvement, recreational equipment, and building improvements expense lines in the total amount of $31,680 to utilize donation revenue for the related expenses as submitted by the Leisure Services Department. To approve the budget amendment to increase the refund revenue line and increase the other equipment repair expense line in the amount of $40,000 as submitted by the Police Department. To approve project budget amendment to increase shared program state revenue line and interim assistance expense line in the amount of $42,175 for the Waterloo Housing Trust Fund as submitted by Community Development. To approve the budget amendment to increase the donations revenue line and the educational and training services expense line in the amount of $2,500 to utilize donated funds for EMS and fire open houses as submitted by the Fire Department. And to approve the budget amendment to increase cash on hand and the minor equipment as supplies expense line in the amount of $8,927.32 to use carry forward funds for golf repairs as submitted by the Leisure Services Department.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And then for bills payment, for the March 24th, 2025, that amount is $4,557,388.31. March 31st, 2025, $4,619,986.59. And for April 7th, 2025, $3,847,723.49. Make a motion to receive, file, and forward to the full council.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.